just being at home again?
It sure seems to help. You know, we do love playing at home. You always got great memories coming back here, and you know, there's sort of a built-in, you're used to winning at home. We love playing in front of our crowd. We feel a responsibility to perform in front of them. And just after our losing on the road, it does feel good to come back and win.
Right, 14 for 25 from three tonight. Obviously, a lot of that was Furkan. But the theme of kind of your offense seems like if the shots fall, the offense performs well. Do you agree with that? Do you think, is that a flaw or something that is the nature of your team?
I mean, I think it's human nature, sadly. I hear your question, and it's the great challenge coaches go through. You know, if teams always let their offense dictate their defense, it means they're really not that good of a team. And they're not going to be playing that long. And that is the challenge. And the connection is real. It's a human nature thing as I see it. And that's the challenge that you have to navigate through. You've got to continue to coach. It's easy to play defense when you're happy and scoring, people get touches. It's harder when you got to grind things out. But grinding things out equals May and June, you know, late April. And that's the mission that I am on as it relates to stuff going on the road with us.
What impressed you the most about Furkan tonight?
I liked his defense. Like, we're all going to remember him shooting, and it's true, and he hit some timely shots. But I think that when you take a deep dive into the tapes as we have, and you know, you come back from the road playing against East Royalty in the three teams, the last three games that we saw, people that used to pick on him don't pick on him as much. And people that like put him in pick and rolls don't do it as much, or trying to pick on him and pin down, walk away, wide type angles, coming off screens, off ball stuff, don't pick on him as much. And when they try to, I think that he's solid on leveling people, moving his feet, showing his hands, chesting, all that, you know, defensive scheme, technique stuff. Of course, his scoring was needed. I thought his teammates, Ben especially, did a good job finding him. But I thought holistically he was pretty good tonight.
Right. I know this isn't the first time you've heard boos in this arena, but tonight actually during pre-game introductions, I think there were boos for not just you, but really the entire team. Were you surprised by that?
It's really the first I've heard of it, and no, it doesn't surprise me. And it's part of the passion of this city that makes it unique, and you move on. And I mean that with all my heart.
I guess you didn't get the word until late with Josh Richardson. Is he going to get back in the starting lineup on Sunday?
I don't know. Like, I go back, I'm sort of a prisoner to the minute restrictions that somebody gives me. And so you have a sum of money, you have a sum of minutes, and you figure out how to spend it. And what I do know is I reverse engineer it. I go backwards. How do I make sure I can end the game with him? I don't want to spend all my money in the first three periods. And so you take the number, you figure it out. Sometimes that may not mean starting. It's hard to start somebody if you got a sort of a frugal amount of minutes. Like, you just can't piecemeal that and walk that down. You can't do it. And so coming off the bench allows me to do what I just said, end games with him and still satisfy the medical requirements, and I'll learn more about that, I'm sure, in the next few days.
Right, could you verbalize the challenge of incorporating two new guys in the mix? And sort of how you go about that?
You find vanilla and you try to master simple, and then you grow from there. That's my opinion. You're gonna say, like, when you come in the game, Glenn, two things. I will make sure that I don't dizzy you with too much. This will be the play I run for Joe or Tobias or Ben. In the event that I call your number, this will be your play, and like it stops and starts there for really a few week period. And I think that defensively, to just reinforce what we do is most on my mind. And incrementally, if I can continue to like space these guys properly, then they're gonna find their own ways to score. But it starts with something that's just very, very simple, and making sure that you don't blow up their head with too much information.
Right, you played Tobias next to Joel as a four tonight, which obviously we saw a lot of last year, but maybe that's not been as prevalent this year. So it's something that you're planning on looking at more? Like obviously we talked about rotation changes before the game. Is that
Yeah,
something you're interested
I
in?
am very.
And so what did you see out of that look tonight?
I see, there's just, if you look at what does Al Horford do, and you look at what does Tobias do, they're different. Like, I thought Al on JJ tonight defensively, I'm not too sure what he shot, but I bet it was it 2 for 9? What was it? Two for 9. Like Al Horford, tough. Al Horford coming out making some timely threes. Like, we really need him to get that going. And so you say, well done defensively, great job making threes. And then Tobias is just, he's just more of a bounce, more of a wiggle, can just more sort of mobile type stuff. Al is more of that physicality. And it is what I would say, like they're different players. And so both come with some interesting things that can balance out the team and how you want to play. But for sure, they are different at that 4 spot.
And so how much interest do you have with Glenn Robinson, with Alec Burks coming in, maybe playing more wing-heavy lineups rather than like a true stretch four like Scott?
I have a lot of interest in, like we talked about in before the game, if we can, the team deserves credit. They stick together. I see what you may not. And it's a team that really does want to fix this. They genuinely want to fix this. And so as we navigate kind of the bottom line of winning and holding this together until those people come back in, when I go away from All-Star break, you're going to have a jigsaw puzzle that you're going to have to play with, and I look forward to it. The desire to do what you just said with that wing-heavy type team, it's possible. And I think the notion that it always has to be, this or that, I don't believe that. I think it doesn't have to be an either-or thing, and that's, I think, is the strength of the design of the team that Elton has put together, and that's how I intend to sort of judge it and weigh it and make decisions on how to play it.
Brett, when your team calls a players-only meeting,
Say that one more time.
When you guys call a players-only meeting, how much of that gets back to you? What was discussed in that? Did somebody say to you, if you went over these topics, as defeat the purpose of a
I don't even want to know. I really don't. I very much live very comfortably in a need-to-know basis. And in my inner circle, I have trusted people that understand my version of, you better know that. And players as well. I don't think like that there's head fakes on communication or transparency. And it's not the environment I feel comfortable in at all. It's not who I am. They understand that. We talk freely among staff and players. And so, stuff that goes on behind coaches' doors and, in locker rooms, I wish them well. Like, all I care about is the things that I saw in the locker room and on the court. And I see a team that is very committed to trying to fix this and stay together. And so my answer is, just what I just said, a need-to-know basis. They'll figure out if I need to know it. If I don't hear anything, I don't care.
Coach, what's your vision and your opinion on how this team needs to come together for the second half to make a strong run for the playoffs, and how do you see this team at the end of the season?
I mean, it's two things in my eyes very, very clearly. We need to have a sting to our defense. That is who we have to be. It's who we have been. We're the third best defensive team in the NBA. That needs to be refined, polished up, and hardened. That's that. Then you need to have an identity on offense. It's spatial things, it's touches. It's a self-awareness thing. It's selfless people understanding that maybe tonight the game doesn't dictate like you're going to get a lot of touches. This could be Ben's night. It could be Joe's night. Let's free up Tobias. That's a team. That's what interests me the most. And, if we can sort of like claw through and grind it out and play defense and build that side that is connected to our offense, this spirit thing that we're speaking of, then I think that we can deliver this team in a very positive way to the playoffs where we're good to go. And as it sits with 30, now 29 games out, there's a lot of good time with a few new people coming in to help us make that stance that I just spoke of.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.